So that, of course, viewers, is the latest coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, of course, is in Indonesia. And this is, of course, marking the first leg of his three-nation visit to the Indo-Pacific region. We're, of course, talking about very important key concerns here. Indonesia is, of course, to expand the BrahMos battery inventory. Maritime security is, of course, in focus. A lot of MOUs have been signed on maritime security. MOUs have also been signed on BrahMos and Astra missiles. And we're, of course, talking about the deepening ties of India and Indonesia. Joining me on the broadcast now is Wing Commander Praful Bakshi. He's a defense expert. Wing Commander Bakshi, welcome. And of course, we're talking about the deepening ties between India and Indonesia. MOUs have been signed on BrahMos and Astra missiles. How significant is that?
Thank you very much. This is one of the very important MOUs which have been signed recently from the strategic point of view, because India is expanding its, its trade in this region. Philippines has already bought the BrahMos from us. So now it is Indonesia and, of course, Astra missile. So this shows that India, the defense industry, which is now heading for self-sufficiency, is already bearing fruits. We are getting now more orders from outside. It's the BrahMos, it's Astra, it could be Tejas, and there will be a lot of other weapon systems which India is increasing, and including the ship parts, including all other defense material equipment, including army equipment. But what I mean to say is, Indonesia is a very important country. It has shown a lot of interest in Quad arrangements, and there have been talks that in the Quad Plus arrangement, Indonesia would be included also. And India is already there. But besides Quad, India by itself is coming up as a very strong nation, not only in defense industry, but in also other equipment, other fields, including medicine, including aviation, including tourism, and so many other activities. India is taking lead. There is no doubt about it that China is also gaining a lot of ground in that area, and without saying, there will be a little feeling that there's a competition between India and China in this region. Howsoever, the other countries are watching India's progress. Philippines has bought the Astra BrahMos from us. BrahMos is a very important missile, and it is also already increasing its performance. It's not only now Mach 3, it will become Mach 3 plus. And the range is also increasing, not 350 kilometers, but it's going to be 850 kilometers also. So it is air, land, and sea launched, and Indonesia is also a very strong naval country, and it's also winning a lot of interest as far as the sea weapons are concerned, including BrahMos. Air launch, ground launch, and sea launch. So I personally think this is a shot in the arm for India, and let us hope that we get more and more orders on this, and market improves, and we are now heading for self-sufficiency, and what is called the self-sufficient Bharat. So we have to make sure that we now make all important weapon systems within India and not spend the costly US dollars or whatever money we have to spend on the weapon systems. And it bears a lot of fruit and profit for us.
All right, Wing Commander Bakshi, please stay on with me. I do have Major General Sudhakarji, he's a defense expert, joining me on the broadcast. Major General Sudhakarji, welcome. And of course, we're talking about deepening India-Indonesia defense ties when it comes to the BrahMos missile, the Astra missile. How do you see this?
Yeah, good morning, Vaishali. Thank you for taking me for your phone up. You see, let's look at the entire visit in a holistic manner. we need to actually look at it from the perspective of Act East policy. I hope I am audible.
Yes, Major General.
The Act East policy of India is getting an impetus, getting a boost in this visit. And apart from the free and open Indo-Pacific that we have been hearing and talking from time to time, this becomes the prima donna or the primary objective of both the countries. Indonesia is part of Southeast Asia, and it has got a huge population, almost about 287 million. And the per capita is one of the highest of the countries of this size, around $5,000. Plus, this country is got one of the largest deposits of very rare earth elements and also critical minerals, like, for example, nickel, tin, etc., etc. So, it will do good for India to collaborate effectively from political, economic, diplomacy, technology, and sale of defense products. So, sale of defense products that we are talking of, BrahMos, after Philippines, we are getting a kind of a very welcome scene from Indonesia. They are not only taking BrahMos, they are also taking a weapon system which is state of the art. Very far and few countries in the world have Astra type missile. It is a beyond visual range and air-to-air missile. And simply the pilot has to lock in and thereafter press the trigger and the missile latches on, destroys the target. So these are beyond visual range which the pilot cannot see. So these kind of weapon systems being bought by Indonesia is definitely going to give us intensify or enhance the momentum of our relationship. It is going to deepen further the relationship between Indonesia. One thing has to be kept in mind, although it is out of context of your question. You see, we need to see it from the perspective of the religion as well. This is a country with the largest percentage of Muslims, Sunni Muslims. 87% of its population is Sunni Muslim. So to have good relationship with Indonesia is something we are calibrating our foreign policy in such a manner so that we are able to contain and counter and contest any kind of unanimity on issues which are inimical to India's national interest, so that we can engage with this organization of OIC effectively. And Indonesia plays a very vital role. So that is seen from that perspective. And Indonesia, as of today, we are talking of Great Nicobar Islands, and we have been engaging with Indonesia for Sabang Island, which is about 167 kilometers through flight distance from the nearest island of Nicobar. And Sabang Island has had ups and downs. China is trying to lay its hand on that. If we can take Sabang Island and develop that into a kind of a logistic base, so both the shoulders of a very important and critical channel. I'm talking about the channel. Channel is 6-degree channel where you have more than 70 to 80% of international cargo passing through. This has got the depth of the sea goes up to almost about 4,000 meters, and the 10-degree channel is dividing the Andaman Nicobar, where the depth is very shallow comparatively, and the edges are narrow. So you have much of the traffic passing by to Malacca Strait through this particular channel. So it will do good India and Indonesia coming together. It will not only challenge and any restrictions being imposed on to have freedom of navigation in the maritime security, but also it will give the like-minded countries coming together to our Atmanirbharta, wherein it is the export of defense equipment is going to take a quantum jump. And this year we have already achieved a target of almost about 36,840 crores of rupees. And with this kind of engagement with countries like Indonesia, now there will be some countries from Africa as well, West Asia, I believe the UAE is very keen to buy the BrahMos and other missile systems. Our defense export is going to take a quantum jump in times ahead. Back to you, Vaishnavi.
All right, I want to bring in Wing Commander Bakshi. Now, Wing Commander Bakshi, do you also see this deal as a geopolitical message going out to China?
Absolutely, Charlie. This is a very strong message. You see, when Joe Biden had made the statement to the Japanese Prime Minister that Asia-Pacific zone is coming up of age and India is going to be natural leader in that, they had China in mind. Now that is why the Asia-Pacific zone is now looking at India, and India is already gaining ground in a lot of technological development, which includes defense equipment. BrahMos is the leading, of course, Tejas also has been, they're evincing interest in Tejas and Astra missiles. There are a lot of other weapon systems, but China is keeping a watch on that because China has got its interest in Malacca Strait. Because Malacca Strait, 60% of Chinese oil and trade passes, 80% of the world trade passes through Malacca Strait. So Malacca Strait assumes importance, and anybody who has weapons like cruise missiles of category of BrahMos, which is going to be 800 to 850 kilometers or probably beyond later on, then that way these countries can call shots, and China is worrying. So China actually has started thinking of an alternate route where they do not have to pass through Malacca Strait, and this is where China is very worried. They're wanting to make a route which is directly open into Bay of Bengal, so they avoid the Malacca Strait. So this aspect is very important. So you can now make out how China is worried. So China is now got Bangladesh on its side, and China is trying to show a lot of interest in islands around in Bangladesh, in the Bay of Bengal, and of course Siliguri, chickens next to China, and is playing games along with Bangladesh and Pakistan. That's a different thing. So this aspect of Indonesia showing interest in us, this is probably the biggest, largest Muslim country in the world on our
Wing
side.
Commander Bakshi, I'll let you complete your point. Just give me a minute. We need to address these live shots with you viewers that are coming in from Jakarta. PM Modi, of course, there with all of the leaders. A meeting, of course, is underway, and these are live shots that we're sharing with you, which are coming in from Jakarta. You see the Indonesian president there and our Prime Minister. And with that, I want to go back to Wing Commander Bakshi. Wing Commander Bakshi, please complete your point.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Now, as I was mentioning, that now China is now planning out its next move. Of course, China is very, very strong. It does not show, aggressiveness straight away. But you can see from the way China is now creating the pressure on India, whether it's to Nepal, whether it's to Bangladesh, where all that thing, of course, Pakistan, China is totally involved. So they're trying to create a nexus of Bangladesh, Pakistan, and China. They're creating a nexus against us, getting religious aspects into it. All these things are going to make a lot of difference. So this message which is going that India is now attaining a great amount of self-sufficiency in defense development programs augurs very well. It conveys a very strong message in the region. And India is also now going, we are changing our policies, we are changing our doctrine, there is no doubt about it. Now we are not going to get, caught as, it is not 1962 India, it is now probably 2026 and beyond India. So you can make out by next 6 months or 7 months, we will get more good news on BrahMos and Tejas and Astra missiles and whatnot. So I personally feel at the moment we have to watch out for China, and China is going to create problems for us very in a calculating manner. It is not a brash country. So let us see how they do it. But we have to keep our powders dry. We have to keep eyes on our Chinese border, especially in the Meghalaya area, the northeast area and Arunachal area, where China, as we have already got the news, are bringing up. So land-launched cruise missiles or air-launched cruise missiles will be very predominant in that region, like BrahMos will be brought into it. And we have already placed BrahMos batteries on our borders. So, Shali, I personally feel that China is not going to take it easy, and China may try to bring in American ideas into it. We probably force the American president into making some move against India. So we have to watch out for all those fancy political moves, and we don't have to get caught on our own foot. Thank you, Vaishali.
Right. I'd request both my guests to stay on with me. And now, viewers, let's take a look at the